The Canvas A1 was my favorite budget phones, mainly for its emphasis on usability and smoothness. While I've already compared the camera performance between the Moto E and the Canvas A1, which, by the way, if you haven't seen, is in the link below, in this video, we'll be comparing everything else you need to know to make an informed decision. So let's get on it. Unsurprisingly, both phones are predominantly plastic, but the Moto E looks a lot classier than the Canvas A1 with its curved back and two-layered aesthetics, while the Canvas A1 is a pretty plain finish, with very little going for it in the design department. The build on the Moto E is very solid as well. If anything, I didn't like the flimsy piece used to cover all the ports. The Canvas A1 on the other hand is a very decent build, but the paint is wearing off already, giving it a very cheap impression. Overall, the Moto E definitely has a lot better design and build than the Canvas A1. The only advantage of the Canvas A1 is its removable battery. Coming to the display, the Canvas A1 sports an IPS 480p display, while the Moto E has gone with a 540p panel, which, as we've already mentioned, Flipkart says is TFT, while the Motorola website claims is IPS. In reality though, both phones have decent viewing angles, but the problem is in the colors. The Canvas A1 has very good colors, while the Moto E is a bit duller and has a yellowish tinge. While this didn't bother me on a daily basis, placing it next to the Canvas A1 makes the duller whites quite obvious. The slightly better resolution of the Moto E doesn't really make a noticeable impact either. Overall, while the Moto E's display is usable by itself, the display on the Canvas A1 was more appealing to me. The camera is another place where the Canvas A1 fares better than the Moto E. We have a more detailed camera comparison in the link below, but in the summary, the Moto E's low light performance isn't great and the lack of flash doesn't help the case either. Photos taken with decent lighting conditions were on par on both phones, but again when it came to the front cam, the Moto E was worse off than the Canvas A1. The Moto E is powered by a 2350 mAh battery. In comparison, the Canvas A1 is powered by 1700 mAh, so I wasn't very surprised to see the Moto E fare a lot better in the battery test. While the Moto E should easily last you a day under normal usage, the Canvas A1 might need a late evening charge based on usage. Coming to the software and UI, the Moto E runs Lollipop at launch, while the Canvas A1 is in the process of getting the Lollipop update. While the Canvas A1 runs pure Android, the Moto E runs, well, pretty much pure Android with a few features like active notifications, Moto Care and Migrate, etc. But the phones are incredibly smooth, which is something amazing at this price point. Overall, since both phones have a similar software and UI, at least they will once the Canvas A1 gets the Lollipop update, there isn't much difference in the software segment. The only disappointment is Google's delay in launching Lollipop for the Android One phones, while Motorola is showing exemplary support while coming to updating their phones. Next, the storage. The Moto E has an 8GB internal storage expandable microSD card. Installing a few of the essential apps and the Asphalt game left me with barely 1GB left. While the apps can be installed in the microSD card, according to the Moto E website, I found that the data was first stored in the internal memory and later transferable to the SD card. The Canvas A1 on the other hand uses the microSD card for storage itself, and therefore installing apps is only limited to the size of the SD card and the internal files stored in the internal memory. Also, the new Lollipop UI doesn't allow transferring of data from the apps over the microSD card due to write restrictions on the SD card, which is a real shame, but since the Canvas A1 hasn't got Lollipop, we have to see how Micromax will handle the same. When it comes to the speaker quality, the Moto E is the indisputable winner by a long margin. The Moto E with its front-facing speaker sounds a lot louder than the Canvas A1 and makes a huge impact while watching videos. One thing I did notice was the Moto E tended to get a bit warm while continuously texting or browsing the web. This is more noticeable when using 3G. The Canvas A1 relatively stays cool in comparison. While it's not a deal breaker, it definitely does bother, especially when you get a call and have to place it next to your ear. To test the gaming performance, I tested Asphalt 8 on both phones, and while both phones handled it without any major problems, the Moto E did face a few dropped frames when I received some messages in the background. This wasn't a problem on the Canvas A1 though. Aside from that, the experience was pretty much the same, and the slightly better resolution on the Moto E made no impact in the gaming experience. Overall, I found that both phones performed pretty much equally except for the few dropped frames by the Moto E during messages. Finally, the call quality. Out of the two phones, I felt the Moto E had a tad better microphone and the speakerphone. Conversations were louder and clearer on the Moto E than the Canvas A1. In conclusion, the Moto E is a great phone, but the camera performance and low storage is one of my major concerns with the device. If both of those won't bother you, the Moto E is definitely the better buy. Otherwise, the Canvas 7 is something you should strongly consider, especially if you need the extra storage. With that, we'll have the comparison. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Which phone would you choose and why? Also, if you wish to support our channel, you can use our Amazon or Flipkart affiliate link while buying products. Thanks for watching.